Hey everyone, David from Unqualified Critics. Thanks for watching. Today I wanted to show you a really cool mod. I think there are a lot of people in the community that are a little more into modding Arcade1ups than I am. But that said, even I'm pretty impressed by this and think it's really cool. So there's a YouTuber or someone with a YouTube account, Funky Road, posted this. So this is not my mod, but I did want to bring it to your attention because I think this is the kind of design we're going to have to see from Arcade1up right from the factory to get racing games right. Of all the racing cabs or mods that I've seen over the last year or so from Arcade1up products, this one gets about as close to accurate as possible. And on one hand, it's exciting because imagine if you could buy this in the store. But on the other hand, I kind of question we're going to get something this nice from the first party. So let's take a look. Right away, the first thing I notice, the steering wheel is placed in the right place. A lot of modders have put the steering wheel just up on top of the regular control panel and it covers up a huge part of the screen. This looks really nice. It also has the light up buttons to switch your view, which is what you had in a real Daytona cabinet. And it also has the 4-speed gear shifter, which I'll have to look this up in post, but I think that is actually the number of gears you had in Daytona USA. And I think it's very important that they get that right. And I mentioned that before on my racing cabinet speculation video. What do we want to see from Arcade1up to get this right? Because there's a lot of ways you could get it wrong. You want a gear shifter that's proper for the game. Some are just up and down, others are 4-speed, even still some are 5-speed. The steering wheel, which we can't tell from here, but it has to have the right amount of rotation. Some are 360 degrees rotation capable, some are 270, and I think some are even less than that. I'm not an expert on racing cabinets, but I know it varies from game to game. Arcade1up would need to get that right. But then maybe the biggest part of the story here is the pedal placement. It's inside the cabinet. Now, if we look ahead to this view of a guy actually playing this cabinet, imagine if this was a kick plate and this was like the Star Wars sit down cabinet. You have the steering wheel sticking out a little bit, but imagine if the pedals were here, how far back this guy would have to be sitting and how far forward he'd have to be hunched to play the game. He'd look like an old lady trying to drive a car. It'd be ridiculous. And I'm not saying that's what Arcade1up's going to do. I'm just saying they're going to have to do an integrated design like this where the pedals are recessed into the cabinet. Otherwise, I just cannot imagine a racing cab working. So I really hope they're paying attention to this. I also love the seat design. It looks like it's got a plastic shell. This isn't exactly what you would get in an original Daytona USA cabinet, but it looks pretty close and it's definitely good enough for home use. It's on its own platform, which is nice. You could slide it in and out. And this again just makes me think that there's a ton of potential here for a home racing cabinet, but man, it has to be done right. And I'm not even getting into force feedback. So obviously with this video, you can't tell if this is a force feedback wheel or not. If anybody in the comments recognizes what model this is, you could probably go look that up. I really severely doubt we're going to get a force feedback steering wheel built into an Arcade1up product. They tend to like that $500 price point, and a force feedback steering wheel itself is really starting at 200 bucks just for the wheel, and that's not the high end stuff. You can spend thousands. You could spend a few hundred on a decent mid-level wheel, but you're spending a lot of money for a steering wheel with any level of force feedback. And I don't see how Arcade1up's going to be able to afford to do that. I mean, keep in mind they need to sell these at retail. Let's say they do target $500-$600, then they only have about half of that they're themselves going to pocket, and that needs to include a profit margin. That needs to include their freight shipping costs, and it needs to include all of the parts, not just the steering wheel. My hope would be that they would sell us the cabinet with a basic wheel and then let you pay for an upgraded wheel that integrates perfectly into the cabinet, because again, that's going to make or break this racing cab design. Does the steering wheel properly integrate into the control panel, or does it sit on top of it? And in this mod, it definitely integrates into the control panel like I would like to see. So huge hats off to this guy who did this mod. Looks awesome. Probably the best use of what I'm guessing was a $75 or $50 cabinet. I don't know that for sure, but you know, for a $50 cab to transform it into this, hard to imagine doing anything better with it. So I'm interested to hear from you guys as always in the comments. Are you guys hyped for racing cabs? Do you think we're gonna get anything like this, or is that a pipe dream and instead we're gonna be stuck? And instead we're gonna be stuck hunched over like an old lady trying to reach the steering wheel. Well, let me know what you think, and if you enjoy the video, remember to hit like. I'll talk to you soon.
Dripping lights paint the sky.